Ladies and gentlemen, I once again request all of you to be seated so that we are creating the change you want. We have a distinguished panel of speakers for this session. May I welcome onto the dais Mr. Pranjal Sharma, Consulting Editor, Business World, Mr. Ullas Kamath, Joint Managing Director, Jyoti Laboratories Limited, Mr. Kunal Behel, Founder and CEO, Snapdeal.com, Ms. Upasana Kamineni, Vice President, Apollo Philanthropy and Managing Director, Apollo Life, Editor-in-Chief, Be Positive Magazine. I would now request Mr. Pranjal Sharma to take over.
Good afternoon, and I think I'll have to request everybody to settle down. Yeah. This is the star area where all the stars are, so we need to ask them to settle down. Well, if everybody is settled, I'd like to begin the session. Can everybody settle down at the back, please, because it's disturbing the audience at the front. Thank you. Well, good afternoon, everyone. This is an exciting session on youth and how youth is driving change and can drive change and will drive change whether we like it or not. We have an exciting panel here, and let me quickly introduce everybody on the panel to you. I'm, of course, Pranjal Sharma, a consulting editor with Business World. With me on my left is Ullas Kamath, Joint Managing Director, Jyoti Laboratories Limited. On my right is Kunal Behel, Founder and CEO, Snapdeal.com. And on my furthest is Upasana Kamineni. She is Vice President, Apollo Philanthropy and Managing Director of Apollo Life. She's also part of what I do, which is she's editor-in-chief of a magazine called Be Positive. Thank you very much to all of you for being with us. And you can see a very clear demographic divide. This side is the young people, and this side are the people who are trying to be young and hoping to stay young for a little bit longer. I'm going to begin by requesting Upasana to share some of her thoughts and the other panelists as well on their journey so far. What are the challenges that they see?
Granddad, Dr. Reddy taught me to think big, and my aunts and my mom taught me to think out of the box. This resulted in a crazy combination, and that's me. The Indian race is a very entrepreneurial one. Did you know that most of the fancy restaurants in London are owned by Indians? And yes, they're bringing them to Delhi too. Kai, Yaucha, Hakkasan, all these are by Indians. Indians are born businessmen. I feel they can sell a priest the Vatican. A bit of training and how to present oneself and speak the right things at the right time will take us really far. For me too. I did a short course at INSEAD, and the professor told me that a 15-minute speech can be compressed to 2 minutes, and people will take back the same message. He made me do the exercise, and it really worked. Well, my husband's in the films, and he told me the formula. Every 7 minutes, the audience needs either a song or an action scene. People want things to be quick. Their minds are trained to work much faster now. To learn how to make the most of things, most of my time at work, I now do my meetings standing. It gets over quickly, nothing is repetitive, nothing drags on, and the team prepares hard before they see me. Soft skills training and corporate appearances can make a dynamic change in an organization. People who feel good and look good for themselves resonate a different level of confidence. From front end to back end staff, everyone has to be part of the appearance and presentation change. Would you trust an overweight personal trainer? I wouldn't. Have you heard of the Audley pub in London? My aunt's staring at me now. Well, If you haven't, next time make sure you visit. Bug the place and you'll know what's happening in the Indian economy. Far more information than the Economic Times. So they have an Iranian waitress who resembles Katrina Kaif. She makes sure she goes only to the Arab and the Indian guests, and her tips are huge, much higher than anyone, and she fits her job beautifully. People like meeting other friendly people. They ooze enthusiasm, and they're so confident of themselves. Taking care of your body is really an important thing. If you start at a young age using appearance as an excuse, you can actually stay away from those lifestyle diseases. I encourage people to dress well, wear makeup, use the gym, use the spa. Yes, I make sure all my staff does that to look more presentable, but more for themselves. If we implement this in a subtle way in our organizations, we can definitely look forward to a healthy, more confident India. Before you all think I'm really shallow, let me tell you that being a part of the legacy gives me a great stability. I've learned from experiences and have kept my core strong. The values that have been passed on have been engraved in stone at the back of my head. For young Indian leaders, the component remains the same, but the approach to things will be much more different, quicker, and more IT and analytic driven. We want a better system to work in, a cleaner environment to live in. Corruption disgusts us, and the struggle of leaders starting from scratch, like my granddad, inspires us. Young India can change only if the change is from within. Start with the 100-day plan for your body, and the system will change around you in 5 years. Taking a key from my husband's field, I've almost reached my 7-minute mark. I either have to break into a dance or do an action scene for you or just quietly leave. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Umasna. I think everybody is really worried because we are hoping that you won't insist that the next IMA conference has no chairs. So, before I come to Kunal, let me quickly put the question that we'd like you to vote on in your apps, as you've been doing through the morning. The question here is, and I'm sure it carries more gravitas after what Upasna said, do young Indians have the vision, strategy, and organizational capability to take over leadership from the old guard? And I think the answer would be yes, especially if the old guard is sitting and not standing. So with that, I'd like to bring in Kunal. Kunal,
it's there, it's engraved in me, but I will, as I said, will bring about a different change in how I approach things. But this, if you want this outcome, I will get you this outcome, but I'll do it in my way and a more
And how difficult is it for you to do things your way when you have a lot of people who have more experience, who are much older, who say that perhaps that's not the way to do it?
Because, I don't think it's so tough because they also want change. I think they're...
However, everything forms a new normal, right? Everything forms a new equilibrium. And then you have to rediscover yourself, your culture, your motivations as an entrepreneur, as a manager, as well as a team member. So I read this Chinese saying a year ago, which had a profound impact on me. Chinese sayings have this, I'm sure when they're said in Chinese, they sound very impactful, and they're translated in English, they seem mild. So it went something like this. Basically, everyone in life chases happiness, right? Why they want money, everything is happiness. So if you want happiness for an hour, take
new happening all the time. Is that sustainable?
Definitely it's not sustainable. Everybody cannot be Flipkarts, everybody cannot be Kunal. That is taken as, like we should take that as a role example, role models, but we cannot be following them all the time. And most of the people today in technology world, they want to start the business to exit the business. And that's not the way to run a business. All of us, we start a business to run a business. But somebody wants to start a business to exit the business, that business will not take off. And you always see the people... Is
that a youth thing or is it
Absolutely, it's a youth thing.
Okay.
If you see...
so you're saying older people who start businesses don't want to exit?
Not necessarily so. You see, there is a purpose behind everything. There is a knowledge-driven company, so you talk to them through knowledge. A person who comes first in class, he will join Kunal. What happens to the person who comes last?
What needs to be done to encourage the young and to educate them about the right kind of entrepreneurship? One of the serious points which Ullas made is that, when icons like you get created, everybody feels that, with a website and a little bit of money, we can sell anything online to anybody, right? So but the real world where the actual products are made, nobody wants to go and make a new technology or a hardware. We have the capability and the strategy, but still 25% people feel that the youth really can't achieve much. So, Vilas, the point of educating and helping the young realize what true entrepreneurship is, what kind of enabling mechanisms are required so that they can go beyond the glitter and all the glamour that they see.
Entrepreneurship is not something which you can educate anybody. It's a passion. It's like how you fall in love. You can't teach people that how to fall in love. If they fall, they fall. So entrepreneurship is something, a person who feels that he has to have everything for himself. And I define entrepreneur as a person who goes home to come back to the office, and I see an employee.
So what happens when you're 40 and you start thinking like a 40-year-old? What kind of business would you like to do? Would you think like you're 25 or would you think like you're 50?
This is the BAP of hypothetical questions. You know, I'll try and answer it to the best.
I'll tell you why I'm asking you. You said you started because you started with Naivet, right? Mm-hmm. Naivet allowed you to get into something which, if you were older, you may not have got into. When you are actually older, would your risk-taking ability be lesser? Would your Naivet still be around?
I think at any point in time, at some level, and as I said, old guy in our current company also, I think at any point in time, you need to know what have you gotten better at and what have you gotten worse at. And at least as long as, at least my hope and my wish is that I don't lose that self-realization and humility. I think that will be most important, whether I'm 40, 50, 60 or 80.
Upasana, what do you want to be doing when you're 40?
Oh God.
That's the average age of the room, so I'm sticking with that.
Okay, when I'm 40, instead of making people sit on gym balls, I'll make them meditate before they come to work.
Meditate on gym balls?
No. Meditate, levitate. Everyone needs to collectively put their ideas together, and then we'll reach a stable platform.
Yeah, that's a good point. You use the B word, which is boredom, which I think seems to be driving all the young kids. I have a teenager myself, so I won't even begin on that. But let me take some questions from the audience and some thoughts so that we can begin a very vibrant interaction. And let me collect it. And sir, I'd really appreciate if everybody is disciplined enough to have a short question, quick introduction. Can we have the mics here, please? So that we can take as many in the first round.
Kunal Bahal.
Yes, sir. Can you introduce yourself?
Yeah,
Thank you.
I'm Sumer Agarwal from Lucknow Property Management Association, Lucknow Management Association. Yeah, I'd like to ask Kunal, if Flipkart makes you an offer which you cannot refuse, will you accept it, like Sabir Bhatia accepted Microsoft?
This sounds like a press conference already.
So, if they make an offer for us to buy them? I'll think about it. I'll think about it.
Right. So, okay, let me just take some questions here, sir. Please. A mic here, please. One second, can we just go one by one? Otherwise, there will be complete chaos.
I'm Prabhat Sinha from SMG. We are an investment banker focused on the US. Now, I just wanted to get a sense of understanding. Digital and technology are the space which are amongst all the Indian industries closest to the global benchmarks and standards. However, why, despite a sort of revolution of sorts for the past couple of decades, we are still not closer to where the global companies really are in terms of having the edge?
You'll have to be more specific. That's a very generic question.
Well, very specifically, why don't we have yet...
To all the ladies, no... Oh, there she is. Good. Thank God. So it looks like the poll says that there is an increasing trend towards believing that the young can actually do it, which is, I think, thanks to both of you on the panel.
We've actually moved the needle since the conference.
Yeah, you moved it. Yeah, absolutely. Good job.
We've been doing a good job.
You're moving more than needles, actually, but still. Please, do introduce yourself.
Yeah, hi, and I think this question goes to you, the one who is interloculating between the young and the old.
You are talking about
you.
me? Okay,
yeah.
all right.
The question is a little funny. It is, are you old enough to be young, or are you young enough to be old? And this could go for all the people sitting there, because I really enjoyed the conversation. So it could be for any business to run in India. Are we, if I sum up the amount of questions we had with Jyoti Laboratories and the ma'am sitting next to you, so it could be, is the youthful India old enough to be young or young enough to be old?
I'm sure you're a poet of some sort. So
Exactly.
Right.
I do write, yeah.
You do? Of course, I knew that. Okay, we'll come to that later because I think that's a very valid question. Let me take the gentleman here and then I'll come here, then we close this round and we come back. Mike here, please, in the front. Sorry, the mic's not working, sir. आपको दोबारा बोलना पड़ेगा. Please speak again. Thank you.
I am Ved Prakash. Say after 30 years, you will say the same thing. The children, आजकल के बच्चे मानते नहीं, as you are hearing from your parents.
Right, sir. That's a very good point. I think that's going to put them in a spot. The question over here, yeah. Yeah. Sir, if you could wait for the mic, the audience will have the benefit of your question.
Balasubramanian from Coimbatore.
Yeah.
My question is, why are we necessarily linking age with the ability to innovate or to be an entrepreneur? Is it necessary? All of us need to innovate, all of us need to be creative and innovative, and therefore what does age to do with that? Okay. And why are we harping so much on the age?
Okay, that's a question you should put to Aima as well.
Hello. So it's working now. My name is Arif Rao and I come from SAP Labs, India. My question is to Upasana. The health practices that you have adopted in your office or in your organization, do you also intend in future giving it as a consulting service to other organizations?
Okay, so that's a big business question over here, and then we come to the panel. So we'll come to you later.
This is Dinakar Reddy from Tumkur Management Association, and I really thank Mr. Ullas for the beautiful thing that CSR means first giving job to the youngsters. That's number one. And number two here is, my request here is with all the other panel, not only this panelists, how many of the companies are concentrating on, everybody say we are giving education, books, clothes and all these things. None of the corporate companies are thinking of the farmers, and none of the people are thinking of the agriculture. None of the people are educating people to give us food for us to eat. That's the first thing.
But I think, yeah, that's very, very sweeping statements you're making, sir, but we can address this question. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So, no, let me come back, because if we don't come back to the panel, we'll lose all the first set of questions. So, should we begin with you, Upasana? All right. Okay, so first question, actually, Kunal, let's take the questions which work for you. One, I think, which applies to you is that why are we not creating the big corporations like MS and Intel, etc. in India?
We will. I think it's only a matter of time. We saw over the last, over the weekend, we saw a company called Alibaba go public from China with a market cap of $250 billion. Nobody thought a company, internet company from China, not from the US or from anywhere else in the world, could have a market cap of $250 billion, which equals the market cap of all US e-commerce companies put together. Someday, India will create similar businesses also, and I don't think that day is very far.
Okay, next question, which was for you, was how do you balance passion with patience?
That's also
no, for you. I'm coming to you first because Upasana is shying away.
Passion versus patience. You know, if there is a passionate, impatient person, I'll deal with his impatience. Is the way I look at it.
But do you feel like a school principal sometimes?
Look at my age. I'll be the most non-principal looking principal.
Right.
But I think the key is, one of the barometers we have, at least me and my co-founder Rohit, we have for our success as an entrepreneur is not necessarily shareholder value and all those things. It's how many entrepreneurs can we create ahead. And our internal goal is that we want to create at least 100 companies that are started by people who came to work at our company. And I think that by default means we attract a lot of passionate people who are impatient for results. And that's not necessarily a bad thing as long as they are performing. So I guess I do get freaked out when kids call me uncle.
Why? No. That's hang on. That's an important point. Why is it a problem for you to be called uncle?
It's unfamiliarity. It's nothing wrong. It's lack of familiarity with that concept. Okay. I've always been bhaiya. It's the same way. If I have kids, when I'm called papa, I'm sure I'll feel the same way.
Right, sir. Okay, so I think we have time for one more round. Please keep it brief so that we could take as many questions as last time. One gentleman on the corner, then we'll go right at the back.
My name is Mumtaz Khan. I am from Lucknow Management Association. Now, my question is not about being young or old. It's about pragmatism. Kunal, would you want to do business with Pakistan if commerce opens up?
Okay,
would your naivety permit you to do that?
That's a good question, sir. We'll come to that towards the end, and that could be applied to everybody on the panel. I saw some hands at the back. I want to be at the back, yeah. Two mics at the back on the right side, and this side, and the lady over here. Right at the back, please.
Yes, I'm Gauri Dwivedi from Economic Times. My question is to Mr. Well.
I thought there's no media in the room.
Really?
I have the media in the room.
You want an event without media?
No, go ahead. There are 6 cameras, and the person who's talking to you is also from media, but that's not the point.
Mr. Behal, the question really is that we've talked a lot about e-commerce in the last couple of months, but you still have, parallelly, you have situations like, the Enforcement Directorate coming in and raising questions to some of your competitors. Do you think e-commerce is really in a situation with a new business stuck in old rules, and unless those issues are addressed, you cannot really have an Alibaba out of India?
Okay, that's a good question, but I can tell you that Enforcement Directorate is after all the old economic companies also, so it's not just about e-commerce. Question.
Right, Amazon and Flipkart. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. At the back, please.
There, some are energy intensive, some are not so. So is it driving to a question of energy security for India? And what are the young leaders are taking on it?
Young people's views on energy security, that's a deep question. Right, the gentleman in the center with the cap.
This is Dr. Divakar Goel. Kunal, I really loved your answer when somebody asked you, Flipkart is offering you something that talks about your optimism, that talks really a good entrepreneur, the spirit that if Flipkart you want to take over, that's a very good thing. What is your intake about the latest young generation about values, ethics? Over a period of last 10, 15 years, we have seen the meanings of corruption, the professional ethics, the morals, a drastic change in the mind of the young generation. That goes even to the definition of character what we had 30 years back. Now, do you feel that it is right or wrong, or for the sake of increasing your business and all, you can compromise on the values?
Right, thank you, sir. I think we got the point. There's a lady up on the corner. I'm sorry I missed you because this podium is in my line of sight.
Yeah, I read somewhere.
Could you introduce yourself, ma'am?
Yeah, I'm Pooja Khanna. I'm basically into academics, and we also run a export unit exporting to US and Canada. I read somewhere recently and earlier also that a nation can go to ruins if the newer generation fails to keep pace with the forefathers. I don't understand, is it the time for the youth to act, or is it the seniors to make use of the experience, or is it a balance between the two?
Okay, again, a very deep question. Last two questions in the front here, please.
Yeah. I am Professor Rohatgi from Amity University. Yeah, my question is, hello?
Yes, yes, please.
Mr. Kunal, my question is, I am Professor Rohatgi from Amity University, Noida, Uttar Pradesh. Now my question is that starting business in India is very difficult as starting business in the US, in Silicon Valley in California, because they are helped by venture capitalists. There are many other facilities. Everybody in Silicon Valley, those who are in IT business, they have good chance to start the business. Because I know it, my son-in-law, having worked in Microsoft and Google for 10 years, having done PhD and IITM, he started his
Yes, sir, but you have to be quick about your question.
So my question is, what type of difficulty you have faced while starting business in India?
Okay, I'm sure he's going to write a book about that. The lady over here, that's the last question. Yeah, you must, right? And then sell it on your own. Okay.
Okay, I don't have a question. I have a simple observation. Where we are today is definitely the contribution of older generation. And where we are supposed to go or will go, younger generation doesn't have a choice.
Right, so you're taking the blame for everything, right? Okay, all the questions about, first about Pakistan. Would you do business in Pakistan?
Honestly, I've given it no thought, so maybe now that the question has been poised, I'll think a little bit about it and maybe I'll send you an email once I've thought through it.
And the second question was about, is our new economy companies, e-commerce, are still playing by old rules which need to change now?
I think as long as the rules are clear, people should play by the rules. That's my view.
But should the regulatory environment change?
I think I actually find regulators, government officials, etc., very open if you pose a reasonable request or ask or observation, and at least that's been my experience. So I don't think there's somehow, even when we had no interactions as such with policymakers, I always thought that there's going to be a lot of opaqueness. There is not. I think it's all about going there and talking to them about what you think is a reasonable ask.
And therefore, it probably partly answers the question on doing business in India versus the US.
I think that was an excellent question, I felt, because I think, sir, to your point, it is changing very, very, very fast. When we started, we had to do so much juta ghisoing, going to every VC like 6 times here. Almost, Rohit and I invested all our savings into the company. I would say 50% of it went into flights and very cheap hotels to go meet investors, just to raise initial money. But I think times have changed over the last 5-6 years. Technology investors have made money. So their confidence now is that, hey, let's invest in more companies. So we are slowly converging the same ease of starting and building a business, at least in the technology space, which I understand, as in the Silicon Valley, which is very, very encouraging.
And final question, quick answer. Did you have a plan B?
You know, everything in my life has always been I always feel I've been pushed into almost doing things where my parents wanted me to go to IIT, I didn't get in, so I went to the US. Then I wanted to stay in the US, I didn't get my visa, so I came back to India and started a company. So I never thought about plan Bs, the plan Bs were forced upon me.
So he's currently running on plan B constantly. Thank you. And you know, you should read the magazine on plan B positive, right? Upasna, you have to launch a magazine called Plan B Positive, right? Yeah. So the question to you is really about values and ethics. Do you think that the younger people have a very different set of value and ethics? The concept of what's right and wrong is different from what the parents and the generations before had.
See, we're a very conservative culture. You know, I know a lot of people, you know, are so conservative and they respect their parents. We still have that in our system, in our culture. Whatever Tata or my aunts or anyone says today, I take it with so much, you know, I don't like take it through one ear and let it out through the other. I give it importance, and I may have a difference of opinion, but I know that they've learned through experience, and I want to learn through those.
No,
and
but
not make
so
those
remove
mistakes.
yourself from it. In your experience, your friends from school and college, your peers, your colleagues who are as young as you, do they have a different set of values? Because it's obvious, what I think is right, my parents didn't think so. And clearly my son is going to think that what's correct is what I don't think is correct.
But the thing is that you've instilled some values in him, and those will be the backbone. And the rest of what he makes of himself, it depends on his individuality.
Okay, but you think that the values haven't changed at all? They're still the same?
The core values.
It's great to see a great connect between the young and the old, but the end result is that you've moved the needle the other way. It's gone down now, Kunal. So something, you guys lost something out there, right?
Overall, we won.
Right, thank you. Thank you very much for joining in this session.
Yeah, thank you very much. This was the session on Young India, creating the change you want. And we had Mr. Pranjal Sharma, Mr. Ullas Kamath, Mr. Kunal Bahel, Ms. Upasna Kamineni. May I request and invite Dr. J.S. Juneja, past President IMA, to do the honors of presenting small token of our appreciation at IMA to the speakers and to the chairman. To Mr. Ullas Kamath, Joint Managing Director, Jyoti Laboratories Limited. To Mr. Pranjal Sharma, Consulting Editor, Business World. To Ms. Upasna Kamineni, Vice President, Apollo Philanthropy and Managing Director, Apollo Life. And to Mr. Kunal Bahel, Founder and CEO, Snapdeal.com. Thank you so much, sir, for doing the honors. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, we head straight into our next session of the day, which is Collaborating for Change. May I request all the delegates and all the dignitaries to please keep sitting in the hall. We are just starting the next session. 3 लोग